To see Mary standing on the cusp of a sub-3-hour marathon does not do justice to the journey she's been on to get here. From 3:35 down to 3:23 to 3:13 and then to 3:04, each new PB representing some crucial learning point about how to improve and get stronger and faster. And it turns out that that process of getting faster is a lot simpler than most think, and we want to share that with you.
Obviously, before the marathon clicked for me, there's a bit of a backstory, and I'll take you back to my debut marathon, which was in Seville 2020, and it was a pretty good debut. I ran 3:36, which when I look back, I think I was running some good times and just enjoying the newness and excitement of getting out there and experiencing races. And it was so special, that first marathon moment. And then marathons 2 and 3, like if you looked at the times, you'd think I was going backwards, but they were tough circumstances. So I had the virtual New York Marathon, a solo effort apart from Ben on the bike in 40-mile-an-hour storms. It was cold, it was disgusting. And then Bangkok Marathon in the humid heat of a Bangkok night starting at midnight. So, you know, I didn't give myself the best shot, but at that point, I really felt like I couldn't crack the distance. And it was something I was really searching for in my running and my training, because my training was going really well and I'd had an amazing block before the Bangkok Marathon. And I felt like I was capable of much more than what I was achieving at that time. Okay, so now I think we've got to about 8 points that I think have helped me to make my progress in the marathon. But we're going to Cambodia to run the Angkor Wat half marathon. So I'm going to do some of them from there, and it should be a fun ride. Consistency. We cannot make progress in our training, in our marathon training especially, without it. We know that it's a given, and I will talk about how I would manage to be consistent, because I think that can be the tricky thing. We know about consistency. How can we actually achieve it? You know, there's no magic overnight formula. It's getting the sessions done day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and all of that adds up to the progression that I've managed to achieve. So my progress from 3:35 to 3:04 has happened over 2 years, and within that I've had 4 marathon blocks, and outside of those marathon blocks I've also consistently maintained a really good mileage per week. I've just kept running between 3 and 6 times a week. I think New York, Chicago, Berlin, I missed 0 sessions or runs. In the Boston block, I did have a bit of a hurdle to overcome when I had some tightness in my hip, but I switched everything to the elliptical. So you could say I pretty much haven't missed a run or a session in the last 2 years, which feels pretty epic, and it's definitely the big part in this picture. So moving on to the bit that I know is the most important, how do you actually be consistent?
Tell me about consistency.
Well,
no. Well,
hopefully you all agree with me that consistency is the most important thing. Now let's talk about how to get consistent, because back in the early days I definitely wasn't, and I was relying on motivation to run, and to be honest, it wasn't always there, so the runs weren't always happening.
Yeah, when did you first notice the shift from motivation to discipline?
So this is really interesting. It was actually back in 2022, and it's only reflecting this week that's got me remembering about this, but I had an opportunity to train like Philly Bowden for a week, which was amazing. Ben sorted it all out. We met Philly online. She shared her training with me, and I was like so scared when I saw and heard what she does week to week. And during that week, which was a busy working week for me as well, I did it. I trained 6 days. I hit my highest mileage I'd ever done. I think it was about 70 kilometers or just over. And I realized I can choose to do it, and I can get it done. I was getting up super early in the morning, getting out running before work. After work, just, you know, not sitting down, making sure I get out and get the runs happening, and it felt epic. And I think that was a huge turning point for me.
I want to know what you realised about what Philly does.
Yeah, she just does it. It's like there's no option, there's no will I do this one, will I not do it, and where am I going to go? It's like the training is locked in, whatever is set gets done, and that's it. It's pretty simple actually. So some of the things I did to like remove emotion, remove the need for motivation and just get it done were putting my clothes out, which I did every night if I was running in the morning. Not stopping, like if I was running after a day at work, I'd get home, go up, get changed and go without giving myself the time to question or change my mind. And I would always decide my distance and my route. So if I knew I had like a 10k run, I would plan ahead where I'm going to do it. So there were no questions left unanswered. I knew exactly what was to be done, how I was going to do it, and I just did it. That's what it is, just do it.
What's that called? Do you remember?
Implementation intention. So setting out exactly how you're going to achieve the thing you want to achieve gives it a far higher chance of actually happening. It's gold. And all these little habits just massively increase my chances of getting the runs happening. So there was no one big shift or change. It was just lots of little factors put into my life to help make the training work.
Yeah, I've not got anything to add to that, it's other than essentially what we've both figured out is that you have to remove emotion from the process and just, it's not even a choice, it just happens. And you always feel better for it afterwards. So that's the beauty of the system is if you try and rely on motivation, you're done for.
Yeah, and the more you do it over time, the stronger the habit becomes. And now I can't not run. But I remember that first week, like training like Philly was like a huge breakthrough. And then it was just repeating that week after week. And now it is just life.
Right, we need to go to bed. This is going to be a completely different video, but the video after this, we're running one of the most beautiful half marathons in the entire world. Very excited, Angkor Wat coming up. But we need to get to bed because it's like a 3 a.m. wake up. What was the third thing, Mary? This, by the way, this went completely wrong.
Yeah. Running with other people that are better than me, which is something I put off for a long time, or walking with other people.
Yeah, it was we were supposed to be running, but my calf tightened up to the point I thought it was dangerous, and we were going to make the point that Mary's progress has become from running
with others.
But now you're walking with other people.
Yeah. But yeah, sharing training with others, like the Sunday long run.
Hello.
Ah, nice to meet you. Our Sunday long runs, perfect example. I used to always do them on my own, maybe except the warm-up, but then I'd just go and do my own thing. And then it got to the point in this block for Berlin and then Shanghai where I actually stepped up and stuck in with the boys and ran the whole long run with them, and it pushed me and I was a bit afraid, but it definitely took my running to the next level.
Yeah. Guys, thank you. So nice to meet you. Sorry, just had to stop for a selfie. The point is surround yourself with people kind of not better than you, but maybe a little bit further down the line than you, or people that will just push you to be better.
Yeah.
That's essentially the point, isn't it?
And be brave and get stuck in when you're ready. Like, it was at the right time for me, so I needed to probably craft out the long runs by myself and kind of get comfortable with that. So when you're ready, take the step, because that will really help you. Like they say, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So I needed to step it up at some point. I did it this year, and I feel like that's a huge thing that really paid off. This seems like a good point to mention that we actually run 2 training groups using all of this knowledge from our coaching backgrounds and our own journey. So if you're training towards any distance in 2026, we can help add that extra layer of help, accountability and community. We have a membership group with plans from 5K all the way to marathon, and we run a bespoke marathon training class twice a year. The plans are always improved based on the experiences of the people in the group and mine and Ben's races. The Class 2 time-based plan was based on my successful New York City Marathon. The Class 3 qualifier I used for Boston, and Class 4 updated qualifier was what I used for Chicago. And Class 5 now has a plan called the 100, which is essentially how I've trained for Berlin and the 304 in Shanghai. We'd love to have you on board, so check out our website for all of the info. All good coaches, all good athletes should be willing to learn and reflect and adapt their training to try new things. And that's something that we did after Boston. So I'd done quite a few marathons and made okay progression, but I really needed to step things up and make some changes before Chicago, and they really paid off. And one of those key changes was shifting my effort in speed sessions from marathon pace to much harder lactate threshold work. So earlier in my marathon journey, I was just dialing into marathon pace, marathon effort to practice that. And I wasn't really going above, working harder than, faster than in those sessions. And when it got to Chicago, Ben and I kind of reflected on what we wanted to change, and we decided to shift those sessions to lactate threshold work. So we were stepping things up, pushing to heart rate low zone 4, and it was faster pace, harder effort, and quite a lot of intensity in those Tuesday night we do them, the Track Tuesday sessions. And it was tough. And I remember those first few weeks, first few months of training like that, it was a bit of a shock to the system. But I think I actually credit that to a big part of my kind of speed endurance development. And that's what those sessions are for, and it works. So working at around the kind of pace you could hold for 10K to half marathon, dialing into your zone 4 heart rate and trying to kind of sustain that effort for maybe 10 1K reps is an example of a session we would do in those sessions. So your body accumulates lactate when you're working hard, when you're working at around that zone, and by training at that zone or just below it, your body becomes better at dealing with that lactate and getting rid of it so you can keep running harder for longer.
What's the time in the morning, is it?
6:52 or something.
6:52 in the morning.
Beautiful morning.
It looks like we're going out for a run. I don't usually run in a cycling helmet. I am resigned to the e-bike, because, the calf blew up in Cambodia. But Mary, we're going to test the run.
Test the run.
Well, you're going to test and see how you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Test the run.
Yeah, I've been a bit stiff since Shanghai, so seeing how the legs are. Okay, so one of the things that I've done which has definitely inspired my progress is to cultivate a love, a real passion for running, and it's like it gets the fire going. We're so lucky to have so many amazing running YouTubers out there, runners on Instagram sharing their training, their stories, their life, their progress, and I just lap it up. Like seeing people going through their training, what they're doing, how they're making progress, helps you to reflect on your own, helps you to get inspired for your own, and yeah, it just further fuels that fire, builds that passion, and can be such a huge benefit when you're kind of in your own cycle and on your own journey. It's good to learn from and kind of share that with others too. This year I've spent hours on the treadmill and they've all been watching running YouTube, so I've clocked a lot of hours viewing, a lot of hours of inspiration.
Also, we both turned into like voracious readers. We like read books about running, we read books about how to run, we read books about how to form habits so that you can run. Like everything that we do pretty much is revolves around like how can we get better at running, or how can we foster that passion. I mean, there are too many books to name now, but we've read some absolute bangers. Ultimately, what we're trying to say is that we immersed ourselves in the culture of running, everything to do with it, and we wouldn't have it any other way, right?
Yes, there's so much out there that's inspiring, it's exciting, it's good people, and it's a huge part of my journey, huge. And I think it's a really nice sensation to extend away. Yes, I am following myself along, doing a core workout in exactly the same outfit. I promise that bit is just coincidence, but strength and conditioning is a really important part of my training, and one that I have kind of developed over the years because I've had to work out what works for me, what is doable, what is repeatable, what is going to stay in my training, and also what is going to target the areas that I need to work on. I was really struggling with strength and conditioning because I found the amount of stuff out there online really overwhelming, and there was just so much choice that I basically didn't do anything really. Until I dialed in and just picked a few key routines that I have done on repeat that have helped me to stay consistent. So what I found that works for me is mobility as often as possible, and then a single leg workout a week and a hip workout a week. If I've got extra time, which is this week, I'll also do some core work. So ultimately I'm still working, I'm still developing my strength and conditioning, but what I found that works for me is simple, fairly short, easy to remember routines that I can do on the weekly and stay consistent. That's been much better for me than like an hour-long workout that I just don't get done and then it goes by the wayside altogether. So yeah, that worked for me. Maybe it will help you. So I've talked about having discipline with training and getting it done, but a real turning point was having discipline actually with the session, thinking about what the aim of the session is and being disciplined to execute that aim to really get the benefit. So it's like keeping your easy runs genuinely easy. And a big one for me was gauging the right effort to get the most out of those lactate threshold sessions. So making sure I push hard enough, but equally not too hard that I blow myself out and cause too much damage or fatigue. And I've managed to get a big chunk of intensity in those lactate threshold sessions, like 10K at lactate threshold across reps, by gauging the right effort that I'm working hard, but also that I can sustain it across a big meaty session. So it's also really important not to go higher than the prescribed heart rate in those hard sessions, because I need to protect myself. I need to be able to run tomorrow. And if I did push too hard, I just wouldn't be able to get the whole session done. I'd burn myself out. So it's like the discipline of gauging your effort to be hard but sustainable, which is a bit like marathon day actually. You've got to dial in and fight and battle, but at a level that you can sustain across the marathon. Yeah, and if you've got any questions about that, or if you want to work out how to train at your threshold and exactly where that is, this video will help you, because it's about really knowing your right heart rate zones and then knowing how you need to use those in your training. Okay, Wednesday run, let's go. My next point is about increasing mileage and the number of days per week that I run to get increased mileage, but the way that I've done it, which has been really gradual. When I first started marathon training, I think for my first few cycles I did 3 runs per week, maybe 4 at a push if I added in park run. So I would run Tuesday, Thursday, usually Sunday for the long run. And you know, that got me to my first marathon. 3:36 was about what I could fit in at the time, and enough for where I was at the beginning of my kind of endurance running journey. Once my first marathon was done, I wanted to progress and build on that, build my aerobic base. I added in a 4th run per week, so running consistently Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 runs with intensity, some kind of speed, and 2 easy. This is meant to be easy, but as you can tell, I'm now struggling to speak as the tag heats. I've really got to dial down the effort to make sure I get the benefit of this run and that my training is intentional. But just about to get to the sea and get the view, so come and look at this. Here we are. How beautiful. Good for a little pit stop. So by the time I was training for New York, I was up to 5 days per week, and I sustained that for New York, Boston, Chicago. So that unlocked my 313, like higher mileage. I think I got to around 95 kilometers 1 week for Chicago, kind of 85, 90 in the biggest build weeks. And for Berlin this year, I really wanted to step it up. So I got up to 6 days and 8 or 9 runs, because I added in double run days as well. It's quite steep here. Am I gonna run a sub 3 in 2026? I don't know, but I'm excited to try and find out, and I'm gonna use all the tips that I've shared in this video. And if you wanna see me run my 304 in Shanghai, check it out here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you wanna see us take on this amazing journey in 2026.